Okay, for those of you who are interested in wildlife or in biology, this should be of high concern to you. So there has been a mysterious sudden death of hundreds of elephants in Botswana, which is one of the countries that has the largest elephant population in the world. And this is still unresolved. So let's begin. So almost 400 elephants have dropped dead in Botswana since early May, and nobody knows why. And tests ordered by Botswana's government and laboratories in South Africa and Zimbabwe have proved inconclusive. So they have not been able to figure out what the hell is going on here. Um, the pesticides, agrochemicals, and pathogens as possible reasons for the unexplained deaths of the world's biggest land animals have been ruled out. So they haven't figured out a pathogen that was associated with it, which to me, I would think, okay, so it is possible since elephants are so closely related to primates, it is possible that this pandemic that is going on right now might have some influence over the life expectancy of a lot of animals. However, that seems to be ruled out as well. So Botswana is home to Africa's largest elephant population. So let's begin. So the question of what killed hundreds of elephants in Botswana remains unanswered after long-awaited test results proved inconclusive. So between May and July of this year, between May and July of this year, the remains of hundreds of elephants were discovered near the Okavango Panhandle, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this, in northern Botswana. So and actually, let's just get an image of this so that we know what we are talking about. So let us load. So in northern Botswana, and let's minimize this. So this would be the Panhandle area. So this is an area that's close to Namibia. So yeah, so this is where the elephants are located at and are dying randomly. So they were often found close to water holes, and distressing photographs showed that they had crashed headfirst into the earth, indicating a sudden death. And other sickly elephants were emaciated, weak, and barely able to walk. So what is distressing about this is it doesn't seem like there is one type of symptomology that is going on. We have some elephants that are just dying and falling into the ground, probably getting some head trauma as they're falling. And to me, this would be indicative of something, say, like a brain aneurysm, right, or some form of blood vessel, major blood vessel that has ruptured after being ballooning for some time, and then you would have a sudden loss of blood pressure, and then an animal dies. That would be, I mean, that's what it seems like to me. So actually, the way I stumbled upon this article was I was looking up sudden death because I was concerned about all the sudden deaths that are happening right now. But apparently, that is happening with these elephants. But then there's other elephants that appear to be sickly. They were emaciated, or they basically lost a lot of muscle mass, and they were weak and barely able to walk. So it's not just, it doesn't appear to be just a sudden death type of syndrome. It seems to also be a progressively deteriorating disease of some form. Now, granted, they're saying it's not a pathogen, but you know, maybe it's a prion, maybe it's some form of protein disorder that is going on right now. I mean, this is highly concerning to see this happening. So, anyways, deliberate poisoning was initially suspected due to the ongoing conflict between farmers and elephants. So this is an issue in all the world, really, where farmers are in conflict with the natural progression of wildlife, right? So wildlife frequently will do things such as beavers are building dams that can cause flooding, and then elephants and monkeys and deer can go in and eat the food that you're trying to produce, which can be extremely detrimental. So there was a lot of what would the word be? There would be a rationale or a reasoning behind the deaths of the elephants if it was associated with farmers trying to fight back against them. But that appears to not be the issue because the carrion feeders, or the vultures or the carrion feeders, they were not affected by this. Now, granted, that means that theoretically could mean that there was some sort of toxin that was used that is specific against mammals, but that is unable to affect vultures and other avians. However, that would be unlikely. I don't see these farmers to have the resources to be able to do that at a scale this large. So results from the test samples sent to laboratories in South Africa and in Zimbabwe ruled out pesticides, agrochemicals, and pathogens commonly implicated in deliberate wildlife poisoning as possible reasons for the unexplained deaths. Okay, so I should take back what I said. It appears that they were only looking at pathogens that are commonly implicated in wildlife deterioration. Uh, yeah, I don't think it says anything. I don't know if they checked to see if the coronavirus might have been one of those possible diseases. Regardless, so Botswana's Environment Ministry in a statement said it was investigating natural poisoning as a potential cause of death. The results received so far do not eliminate poisoning. Therefore, environmental factors, including naturally occurring toxins. So remember, a lot of plants are able to produce their own pathogens in order to fight against predation, and so it is possible that there was, say a weed or some sort of possibly an invasive species that had a little bit more toxin than what the elephant's digestive tracts were usually able to process effectively. Perhaps there was an outgrowth of a particular uh, plant, and then the elephants just eating indiscriminately ended up getting more of this plant than what they normally would in their diet. That could be something that is doing this. But that doesn't make sense to me because why would we see this large range of symptomologies if it was just a plant, right? Maybe there are different amounts that these elephants are eating, and that's why they're getting a spectrum of different symptomology. Anyways, this is a mass die-off on a level that hasn't been seen in a very, very long time. Outside of a drought, I don't know of a die-off that has been this significant. So Botswana is home to about 130,000 elephants and Africa's highest population of the animals, according to BBC. Around 10,000 of those live in grassy Okavango Delta, in the grassy Okavango Delta, and I apologize for mispronouncing that. And this floods seasonally. So yeah, this is just concerning for me, and hopefully it is concerning for you. Hopefully, we get more details as to what is causing this, because if it is, say, a disease, uh, then that would be extremely problematic, because then this is just the beginning of the mass deaths of the elephants if it is a disease that has yet to progress into the entire population. So, um, with that, and what I should also say is that it could be a side effect from a disease that they have contracted a long time ago. So, for instance, if it was, say, the coronavirus that had caused, say, an autoimmune disease or has caused the heightened risk of forms of heart attacks or embolisms or aneurysms, then they might not be detectable at all at that point. So yeah, there is a large concern that, okay, if this is a disease that caused some sort of long-term health consequences in the elephants, and then the elephants die, say, months after they've contracted the disease in the first place, that could be extremely problematic for wildlife in general. So I think with that, I'm going to head out because I don't think there's anything else that I should say about the subject. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow.